section there. Next one was process of erosion when a stone collides. It's attrition. Attrition is when you wipe your hands with soap. The soap bar gets smaller and smaller. Okay, that's what happens. The rocks collide, and as they collide, they get smaller and smaller, smoother and smoother. One river transportation, you've got traction, suspension, saltation, solution. One of those. Okay, don't say current. The current isn't a way of. It's a it's not a method. It's not a process. It's just a thing that happens in the river in which one of those four processes takes place. You then had the question here about how much of the 0.494.5 box is covered by salt marsh. 0.495 is found this point. A lot of you looked at it and went 0.4 because you saw all of this and you're like, that's a fair bit. Problem is, salt marsh is only this section here that sticks out. That section in the corner is actually land, so it's not nearly half. It's less than nearly half, so it was at 0.2 square kilometers. Okay. Over there here, figure two characteristics of an estuary. We live on one in Bristol. I was really pleased to see you've got a bit of common sense and you've opened your eyes. It's salty. It's salty and fresh water. Okay, you've got some salt marshes. It's muddy. You've got it's wide. Okay, it's tidal. All of these things could have done the job. Okay, but salt marshes, mud flats, wide, and it's tidal would be some obvious ones to write. Okay, and I promise you we're nearly there. The last two questions explain how physical factors affect flood. Physical means natural. Urbanization is not natural. Deforestation is not natural. Concrete and tarmac on the road is not natural. Okay, the natural factors you had to talk about were things along the lines of geology, rainfall, vegetation cover, the altitude, the steepness of slopes, if it was flat land or steep land, and the like. Okay, so if you said geology, for example, you could say, well, geology of the landscape affects it. For instance, if it's impermeable rock, water can't infiltrate, increases surface runoff, and increase the chance of a flood. If it rains a lot, one of the physical factor, there'll be an increase in surface storage. Therefore, there might be an increase in surface runoff, and therefore an increase of chance of flood. Okay, explaining, you have to make a point and you have to explain it. So many of you did that, but you forgot to name key processes: infiltration, surface runoff, interception. You have to mention those processes to get your full 4 marks. Okay, and then the final one is figure 16. Ask you to use the figure. Okay, use the figure. A lot of you didn't use the figure. There's facts in there, and you had to evaluate, discuss means pros and cons, the issues that can arise from flood management scheme. Bizarrely, you are all super anti-flood management schemes, telling me all the problems under the sun. There's a pretty good reason why they do benefit, and they're all in here. Okay, so it was a bit of a shame not to see that many people actually use data from the figure and back it up. So one thing you could say is, well, management is positive. For instance, in figure 15, just smash out a few of these facts. That's your point. That's your evidence. Okay. This means, well, actually, if you protect wildlife, you encourage tourism. If you protect leisure activity, you encourage tourism. If you protect homes and businesses, you boost the economy. Your multiplier effect. It's here again. Use it all the time. Explain to me how it increases the area and what are the benefits. And then you can say, well, however, we're not gonna lie, 1 billion is really, really expensive. Okay, you can't protect everywhere. It might increase flooding further downstream, and you can tell me the negatives then. But there was a lot of positive to talk about, and a lot of you got 3 marks because you smashed the negatives. You read the first half of the figure basically, and then didn't tell me the second half of the figure, which was a bit of a shame. Okay, so actually, all in all, I know you won't believe me, but as a geography teacher, I think that was a pretty easy paper.